What's going on, guys? Obviously here with my man, the Sports Critic. Just want to say a quick hi to Brandon Rogers in the chat. So what's going on, guys? So Sports Critic, first tough question of the night for you. How was your week?
My week has been good. I feel like it flies by. I've been working from home, pretty much working from home and YouTubing and creating live streams and having fun like that. But it's been pretty good. How about yours?
No, mine's been pretty awesome. What was I going to say? So, quick question. Tell everybody a little bit about your channel and what you do.
Okay, so my channel, I actually cover all sports, not just football, NFL, basketball, baseball. I'm trying to get into hockey as well. But my favorite team is the New York Giants out of all of them. Football is my favorite sport, so I do live streams. I do, well, right now, since it's, sports news is slow, I do more of the Madden and 2K streams. I also have people on my channel like you do right now and just, interviewing them, asking questions, learning more about the Giants fan bases, a lot of Giants YouTubers I've had in the past weeks. So, yeah, just a lot of different variety of stuff. And thank you for having me on, OGR.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. Just quick shout out to AV Sports, diehard Giants fan in the house. I've already obviously say Brandon Rogers, but a shout out to you again because you're a good dude. And Rafael DeLuna. All right. But anyways, so I'm going to ask you 3 rapid fire questions real quick. First, your favorite Giants moment of all time. Second, your most underrated Giants of all time. And third, what thing happened? What made you become a New York Giants fan in the first place? Also, I see Kamrao Mewa. I cannot pronounce that name. Midwest Sports, Kobe Sports. What's going on, guys? Go ahead, answer away, my friend.
Okay. So my favorite Giants moment is David Tyree's catch in the Super Bowl. The reason is because without that catch, we don't win that Super Bowl. And it was Eli had to get around all those defenders that were trying to sack him. He eluded all that. He threw it up, and David Tyree made a really hard catch, helmet catch, which I love. I know that is a lot of people's favorite, but yeah, that is one of mine. And also, we win that Super Bowl. We beat an undefeated Patriots team. So that's why I love that moment so much. It was so clutch. It was very important to our legacy if you think about it. What was the second question again?
I'll tell you in a second. I just want to say hi to Clocks. The second question was, who is your most underrated Giant of all time?
Ooh, underrated.
In your era, obviously, you're not going to remember like 1940 or something.
No. Yeah, I only know people from the 90s till the 2000s. Most underrated, that is tough. I mean, I really liked Kerry Collins, even though he wasn't amazing. I thought he made a couple of, he brought us to a Super Bowl. That's what I liked about him. And, I thought he was a decent quarterback. I mean, he came late to the Giants, but yeah, I didn't think he was that bad. Like underrated, I would say he was underrated. And then how did I become a Giants fan? Well, I'm born in New York. My father's a Giants fan. I was watching football with him since I was a kid. So ever since that moment, it's the team that I followed the longest out of all my professional sports teams. It's the team that I pretty much been growing up in. It's the first team that I liked, actually.
Good. So AV Sports again, Clocks, Alex Sports, Sports Expert 101. All right. So at this point, let's open it up to the questions for the chat. Eagles UK, another good supporter / subscriber. I don't know if you know Eagles game.
Yeah, Eagles UK, what's up?
But yeah, go ahead. Open it up to the chat. But I'll just give you a quick question real quick while I'm waiting for questions to come in. Who do you think could be the most underrated team in the AFC? And who do you think could be the most underrated team in the NFC?
Most underrated team in the NFC for me is the Chicago Bears. And the reason I say that is they already have a really good defense now. If Nick Foles plays well, I think that they can be an underrated team and be a wild card team. And nobody's really talking about them. So that's why I think they're underrated.
Yep.
In the AFC, there are so many teams that can be good this year, I think. But an underrated team, I think, is the Tennessee Titans. A lot of people just I know they made the playoffs.
Oh, I'm sorry, Amir. I'm calling bullshit. That's not that's underrated. You have to pick another one.
All right, I'll pick another team. Fine. The only reason why I said that is because a lot of people on my chat always tell me the Tennessee Titans suck.
Tennessee Titans are not underrated. They made it to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, that's what
if anybody doesn't realize that the Tennessee Titans are good, it's just not the football that people want to see. Tennessee Titans are. We're going to play good defense. We're gonna grind you out on the ground. We're gonna pick up first downs. We're gonna hold the clock, and then we're going to grind you out. That's old school football. People don't like old school football. That's why That's why people will say those teams are underrated. Somebody like the Jets to me would be underrated.
Yeah.
I'm not the Jets will or won't, but I'm just using it as an example.
No, I was going to say Miami Dolphins is an underrated team.
There you go.
Yes, and especially if it depends. When is Tua going to play? Is he going to be good for them and all that? But I think I like the way that they built through free agency. I like their draft. Their coach, Brian Flores, is pretty good. They can, maybe not this year contend, but next year they can. But I think they'll have a better record than people think. And not many people talk about them.
Got it. Gotcha. All right. Nathan Poland has a question. He goes, who's your surprise starter week 1? Mine's going to be Nick Gates at center.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yep.
Yeah, that would be surprising. I thought LeMayu, is that how you say his name? LeMayu?
Yep.
I think he's going to be a surprising starter for the first week.
Right, there you go. Better season, Bucks or Cardinals?
I think personally the Bucks are going to have a better season. I just look what Tom Brady has. Like, he has Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski. He has all these weapons. Yes, their defense isn't that great. And then I like how they drafted. They got Jedrick Wills for offensive tackle through the draft. So I think the Bucks are going to be slightly better than the Arizona. I think Arizona Cardinals. I think Arizona Cardinals are going to be pretty good too, but I think the Buccaneers are going to be better than them.
Give me a sec here, guys. I just had a technical difficulty on my end. You there?
Yeah. What happened?
All right, good. I had a technical difficulty. For some reason, my mic, something happened with my speakers, but now we're all good. All right, so quick shout out to Big Blue Jabroni. That's a brand new Giants YouTuber. Go check that dude out. Good dude. Has a different style of doing things, especially with the mask. All that being said,
I meant worse. Sorry, worse. Always get the name mixed.
Yeah. It's all right. Good. It's all good. It's all good. Vikings or Bears winning the North? AV Sports asks.
I have the Vikings winning. I just think they're better overall, especially the fact that they got Justin Jefferson, which I thought was a steal in the first round because I think he's one of the best receivers. Their defense is already pretty good. Yeah, I actually have the Vikings winning that division. That's what I think. What about you, OGR?
I do not think the Vikings. I think the Vikings are extremely inconsistent. They've shown you that. They're just way too Jekyll and Hyde for me. I believe they're easily can become second in that division. Until Aaron Rodgers proved that he's not Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to not pick against the Green Bay Packers. Barring injury, I mean, that's the only reason they don't win that division is because Aaron Rodgers usually gets injured at some point here over the last couple of years. But yes, I do believe Aaron Rodgers is overrated, AV Sports, but he's still a good quarterback even if he is overrated.
That's fair. All
right. Any Giant-related questions? If not, we'll just continue on going with whatever questions you guys come up with. So what is going to be your biggest surprise while I'm waiting for more questions from the chat?
What's going to be the biggest surprise?
Yeah. Like big, I've already asked you like surprise teams, but like, what do you think? Like not so much a hot take, but what do you think could be your like what can happen during the year that's going to blow you away or surprise you? Just come up with anything.
Oh, okay. Anything? Yeah, that's kind of
anything as far as the NFL, obviously.
What would surprise me? And I'd be like, what the hell? How'd that happen? I would be surprised if the Rams are above 500. I really don't like what they're doing with that team. They got rid of a lot of players that I wouldn't have gotten rid of. I do like Sean McVay, but I think that division's really tough. And I think that they are going to be last place in that division. I think 49ers are better than them. And I think the Cardinals are better, and I think Seattle Seahawks are better. So I would be surprised if the Rams finish over 500.
All right, same here. I've said that as well. Thoughts on Cutter Coughlin? I like Cutter Coughlin, Minnesota. I like what PJ Fleck is doing in Minnesota. I love Carter Coughlin. I think he's going to be a very underrated 7th round draft pick for us. Actually, I think he's going to be our best 7th round draft pick. Your thoughts on Carter Coughlin, if you know who Carter Coughlin is?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with mostly what you said, so I don't really have much more to add. But yeah, I think he's underrated. He could be good for us to go in the 7th round, and hope he pans out for us.
All right, how many wins for the Giants? Alex Sports asks. I said 7 and 9.
I've done a prediction video on this, so I'm not just copying you, OGR. I promise 7 and 9 is what I had in that predictions video. I went through all the teams, and that was the record that I ended up coming up with.
Ralphie DeLuna wants to know, will McKinney win Defensive Rookie of the Year? I say probably not, but it's always an option. He could have the biggest impact out of any rookie for us.
Yeah, he should be one of the rookies that have the best chances for us to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, because we took him in the 2nd round, and he's a 1st-round talent. So, yeah, I think he could win. Do I think he's going to? No, I don't think he's going to either.
Okay, cool. So what team do you think will be the biggest disappointment? Obviously, you've alluded to the Rams, so we're going to go AFC.
AFC, okay. Biggest disappointment. I think that the Texans will be the biggest disappointment, because they traded DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I know a lot of people say receivers don't matter, but he's such a top-tier receiver that I think it will matter. And I don't like what they're doing there with how they're getting rid of players and trading picks and things of that nature. That's just a team that I think is not going to be as good as people think. I think the Colts may win that division, and Tennessee should win the wild card, in my opinion. What about you, OGR?
I could see that. That's a real tough division. I think actually, I'll go with that one. Why not? Why not? What do you think about Jerry Shaplinsky and New York Giants QB head coach? All right. I said QB. Yeah, I meant quarterback coach. Sorry.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I like him from all intents and purposes. Every quarterback he's worked with have had a raving review about him, so I am really excited to see what he can do with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I really just can't wait to see what he does with Daniel Jones. For me to say anything besides that, like, I know he's worked with other quarterbacks and he's done a pretty good job, but I really want to see what he could do with Daniel Jones, 2nd-year quarterback. Hopefully, he makes him better in every way.
Here we go from Clocks. It always has interesting questions. Would you rather draft a QB like Tua or Lawrence? Who's your go-to program? Who have linemen going in the 1st round, multiple receivers who run sub 4.5s, or guys like Marino, Elway, who had no one?
That's a loaded question there.
That is a loaded question. Who would you rather draft? A QB like Tua, Lawrence? Who's your go-to program? For my go-to program, as far as linemen, anybody in the Big Ten, really. I'm a big Iowa fan. I'm a big Wisconsin fan as far as go-to for linemen. As far as quarterbacks that you mentioned, I'm kind of don't really know with Tua because of the injury, so I have to go with Lawrence just based on injury. And as far as receivers that run 4.5, anybody out of the SEC. I mean, seriously. Just pick anybody out of the SEC. Alabama, LSU. Those are where your receivers come. Ole Miss. But I'll let Sports Critic talk about it.
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of that. But also with the quarterback, yeah, I would have said Trevor Lawrence because of the injury concern. And also because Lawrence has been killing it in college. And, I'm actually a Clemson fan, so it's kind of biased, I guess, but I really do like Lawrence. I think he's the best quarterback in college that's going to come out next year.
Bronco Fanatic in the house.
Yeah,
so getting on to Nathan Pond's question. How long will the nickname Danny Dimes last? Until he's no longer the quarterback of the New York Football Giants, because that's the perfect nickname. Honestly, I love it. I know a lot of people don't like it. I know that Bad Dog takes credit for doing that, saying the Danny Dimes thing, and he tried to do Danny Dollars. I'm sorry, Danny Dimes is just too perfect. So yes, and I mean the fact that he had the not highest completion percentage, but the highest accuracy rate down the field out of any quarterback over 20 yards. Sabrina in the house, what's going on? And Justin Fields. I am not a Justin Fields fan. I've never been any Ohio State quarterback fan. So, and, well, also because I'm a Penn State fan. But, yeah, go ahead. Answer that Danny Dimes question.
Yeah, okay, so the Danny Dimes. At first, I didn't like it because I felt like we're giving him a nickname. He hasn't done anything. But then after seeing him play, I actually do really like the nickname, and I think it will last as long as he is playing well and is a New York Giant. Because, you know, I really at first, you know, everybody questioned the pick. I did too. But I'm really liking how he can be for us. You know, I think he could be really good for us.
All right, Caden Elvis in the house. Broncos Fanatic has a question, and Rafael DeLuna. Do you think the Giants will have a breakout receiver? Yes, Darius Slayton. That one's easy to answer. And what would Lawrence Taylor's stats be if he played in this era? Well, considering his sack total would be higher, because when Lawrence Taylor first broke in the league, they didn't even keep track of sacks. So actually, Lawrence Taylor's sack total is actually higher than what people realize, and relatively the same. He'd be a Hall of Famer. I think he's one of those generational talents that could span any generation and be a very a Hall of Fame type player. Lawrence Taylor is the best defensive player that ever lived, period. He revolutionized how things were played. I think defenses would still be behind offenses had Lawrence Taylor not existed. That's how good I think Lawrence Taylor is. You go back and you watch, you're like, where? I've never seen a player as dominant as Lawrence Taylor, period. There's never been one. I mean, there's been quarterbacks that are good, and Tom Brady, yeah, he's been dominant, but Lawrence Taylor revolutionized. Tom Brady's never revolutionized the offensive side of the ball, but go ahead.
No, I agree with that, and I also want to take it a step further. Some people actually say that Lawrence Taylor is the best player because of how much he revolutionized the game. In terms of sacks, that's very hard because they weren't recorded, and I don't know if if the people would be able to handle him. I know he would have more sacks for sure. I can't say a number because I think he would dominate. He would be scary, and he'd be the best.
See, AV Sports, I mean, hey, I want Daniel Jones to win as many Super Bowls, but yeah, one would be nice, but we'll see. Are you saying this year's Super Bowl or just one in the future? Oh, he'll win Super Bowl 56. What Super Bowl are we even on? Do you even remember?
I forgot the number, to be honest.
What Super Bowl is this year?
It's like 50-something, right?
The Super Bowl will be played on February 7th.
Didn't tell me which one. I don't know which one we're on, so I can't keep track of Super Bowls. I don't even remember what year this was. I mean, I know what team played, and I know obviously who won, but I couldn't tell you what number we're on. I don't even know. But hey, AV, whatever you're saying, I'm with. Oh, 55 this year, so 2 years from now. I could see it. That's where a lot of Giants fans feel where we're going to hit our stride. Oh, yeah, 55 was this year. So 50. So we're going to win Super Bowl this year. AV, sign me up then, my friend. Sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. Realistically speaking, though, I don't see it this year. I don't even see us as a playoff team this year, maybe around next year. Now, I would love it if we won the Super Bowl, obviously, but I think
we'll be questionably a playoff team only because of next seed. So to sit there and because 7-6 is certainly possible to sneak into the playoffs. I mean, obviously, Seattle did it how many ever years ago with that great run by Marshawn Lynch and had a home game at 7-9. So, I mean, it's certainly possible. It's not like it's unheard of.
No, yeah, that's true.
With the addition of an immense talent for the Cowboys, how do you see Graham using the scheme to lock up receivers to create pass rush, who in the secondary lines up with Lamb? I'm going to assume Lamb is going to be in the slot because I just see Gallup and Amari on the outsides. So right now, playing the Cowboys, you're not going to play single high safety. You're definitely not. You're going to have two safeties on the field pretty much at all times. I don't even know if you can really commit 8 men to the box to Zeke at that point. I see Darnay Holmes being a starter from day one. Do I see us beating the Dallas Cowboys? No. But I see us playing man. I think those receivers are too good. They're going to find holes in the zone. The Giants are going to have to play man against those receivers, as crazy it may seem, and probably take away bracket coverage toward Amari and see what Lamb can do or Gallup can do. they're very good. Like, you can only bracket and double team so many guys. You're not going to be able to do it. But the thing is, the Dallas line isn't going to be as good. I mean, with Frederick going away, what's going to happen with Tyler Biadasz at Wisconsin? Is he going to be the starter day one? Their offensive line is not going to be that good. It just depends how well that Giants pass rush, comes up. So right now, I see us playing man across the board, a lot of man. I'm not saying we're not going to be in zone sometimes, and then bracketing coverage toward Amari's side unless Lamb really develops into this crazy weapon. But, I see us losing to Dallas, I think, is it week 5, and then beating Dallas week 17. It just depends where that pass rusher is.
Yes, I agree. I have this exact, I swear, OG, I'm not making this up. You could look at my video of the Giants predictions. I have this same thing that I said with us losing to the Cowboys and then beating them. And Darnay Holmes is the guy that I think is going to try to cover a slot. Now, the only thing I could think of that maybe he could do extra is try to bring some blitzes, try to bring some pressure. But pretty much you hit it spot on. And I don't want to say anything else. I think that was really good. And I'm not saying that just to copy you. That is a lot of what I've been saying about Darnay Holmes. The fact that we took him, I was really excited. He's going to be a great slot corner for us, I hope. So, yeah.
All right. Top 5 Giants right now. Mine are obviously Saquon, Daniel Jones,
Slayton.
So Saquon, Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton, Bradbury, and I'm going to go offensive line. I'm going to go Zeitler.
All right. Well, damn. So a lot of those I like. Daniel Jones.
No, well, I mean, he's saying top 5. So he didn't specify your top 5 favorite because I added some favorites, guys that I think are really good for the Giants.
Okay. Yeah, because he said favorite Giants. So, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley. I like, who else do I like? I like Jabril Peppers. I think a lot of people don't talk about him. Dexter Lawrence and Darius Slayton.
All right. Nathan Pond says, what's the calling for the Giants O-line? Are you talking about starters? Or do you want a nickname? Like that one confuses me. Yeah, I'll just go starters if that's what you're like, who's going to be on the Giants O-line. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people are not going to like this. Nate Solder, obviously Will Hernandez. I know, but I how do I know where?
No, you're right.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's like I know people want to hear that, so I think the Giants are going to throw Andrew Thomas at right tackle. So those are your 2 tackles. Yes, he's played right tackle before. He played his right tackle as a freshman in Georgia. Like, it's not unheard of. Zeitler, Nick Gates obviously being my surprise at center, and then my left tackle will be or my left guard will be obviously Hernandez.
Yeah.
And then obviously, just by your reaction, Amir, you don't even have to go into it because you
already know what I was.
You're going to flop the tackle positions. You're going to put Lemieux at center. We know.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we're doing. Perfect. You said exactly what I need.
All right. AV Sports says, do you believe do you believe we will beat I mean, he meant to say beat the Eagles, obviously. Yeah. The last few years we've lost due to Pat Shurmur.
Yes.
I think we split. It just depends where we hit the Eagles in their stride. But I'd say whenever we play the Eagles later, only because the Eagles suffer from injury and almost every year, and you can count it. There's so many injury-prone players just on their offensive line. Never mind their whole thing. I just think the Giants beat the Eagles because I just don't. I think the Eagles have the best starting 22. Now, a lot of Cowboys fans be like, no, we have CeeDee Lamb. No, they have the best starting 22. But beyond that, I don't see the depth on the Eagles, and I think that's the biggest problem with the Eagles.
I agree with that. And also, I want to say that we almost beat the Eagles last year, and we were a way worse team last year. And I think we vastly improved this year with the free agency and the draft picks. So I think we can. We should have beaten the Eagles last year. It went to overtime. We had to lead the whole time.
Run Barkley, damn it, Shurmur. Yeah, anyway,
totally agree. We need to run.
Hot take: Giants Cowboys will compete for the division. That's not a hot take. That's not as far-fetched as you may think. How come top 10 all-time QBs other than Montana never won a college championship? Brady, Michigan, Marino, Pitt, Rodgers, Cali, Staubach, Navy, so on. Why draft a QB from a top school? Give me Quentin Nelson. Cox, we've had this Quentin Nelson discussion, so I'm not getting into this on this stream, but I do appreciate it. How come? Because really good players in college that stand out, similar to Vince Young. Those guys will win championships because schemes and raw talent wins more so in college than you do in the NFL, where it's a collection of everything in the NFL. So that's why you don't see big name quarterbacks who have to either carry their team or whatnot. Because a lot of those teams that Michigan's great, but Brady was not highly touted. A lot of these guys are developmental, and they just, once they make the jump from college to the pros, something just hits and they just get into the right place and boom.
Yeah, I mean, Brady was a 6th round pick and he was a backup. So
yeah. Sorry to kind of interrupt you there, my friend.
Go ahead.
But we have Mike Nixon nerding out sports, Butcher Block and Patriot Talk, my man Bobby. What's
up,
going on north of the border, my friend? North of the border with Connecticut. That's all I'm saying. Don't get confused with Canada, people. All right, Mike Nixon, I'll just say this. Mine are Saquon, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Xavier McKinney, Andrew Thomas. Nothing wrong with that. I ain't going to disagree. I wonder if Jason Garrett is an upgrade over Pat Shurmur. I see that as offensive coordinators, you see them on equal footing. Both have had success no matter where they've gone as offensive coordinator. So, no, I don't see him as an upgrade.
No, I don't.
I mean, if you want to say head coach, yeah, okay.
Yeah, head coach.
Hot take. Daniel Jones throws 35 touchdowns. Bobby, stop drinking on my stream. I love Daniel Jones, but he's not throwing 35 touchdowns.
I don't think so. I think we're going to become more of a running team. I think that's why he's going to not throw that much, too.
AV Sports, I think he's closer to that number. I think he's closer to 30.
30, around. Yeah, definitely.
Bobby, I love you, by the way. Oh, and I wanted to highlight this. Noah Cahill, another dude. What's going on, Noah? Great channel over there. Adam Rink has the Eagles going 13-3. We all know I've rebut Adam Rink in the past. Like, Adam Rink's a joke. He's a jokester. He's a comedian. There's no surprise there. Jay Berman, thank you for tuning in, my friend.
Welcome, Noah.
Noah Cahill. You know what? Right now, if Daniel Jones throws 50 touchdowns this year, I will get rid of my YouTube channel. How about that one? How's that for a hot take? See, Amir doesn't even know what to say. He's just drinking water. Amir, OGR, Giants are loaded up on LBs in the last LBs, the second rounds of the second. So you meant the third day of the draft. Do you think that TJ Brunson can land a roster spot, maybe for second down player, since he's not known for his coverage skills? I think a lot of those linebackers are going to start in the back end, and I don't think actually TJ Brunson makes the roster because I just think Cam Brown's a better player than TJ Brunson, and I think Cam Brown's going to make the roster because I think he's a little bit better of an athlete and shows more promise. But because we just took way too many linebackers, but I get why it's an addressable position, and the Giants need depth at that position, so that's why they did it.
Yeah, I think they're going to see which linebackers are the best, and then make their decision there. We have a lot of linebackers. We even picked up Blake Martinez and all this. I was surprised with how many linebackers we did take in the draft, to be honest. I'm
saying right now that Lord Brunson hacked Bobby's account. Look at what the Eagles are winning the Super Bowl. If you are an Eagles fan, you know the Eagles are winning the Super Bowl this year. Just give them the Lombardi.
Wow.
Okay, so why draft 2 of 5 overall when he had 2 receivers in college go in the first round, 2 offensive go very high? Give me Jones with a crappy program. Players, your thoughts. You're right. I mean, part of it, you're right, Clocks, but on the other part, if Tuna comes out and shines, and let's just say that he made those wide receivers better than they were. I'm not saying, I mean, both guys are elite. Jerry Jeudy's elite on paper. CeeDee Lamb's elite, or not CeeDee Lamb. Henry Ruggs is elite on paper. I see what you're saying, but there are very good quarterbacks that have shined with good wide receivers that have come out in the past. Can I give you exact examples? No, but I know it's happened. So you're right and you're wrong at the same time. You're right and you're wrong. Sometimes the receivers and the O-line carry the quarterback.
Yeah, plus they already have Devontae Parker, so they probably need quarterback wasn't need for them. Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen were not going to work there.
No, you do not make fun of the Amish rifle on my channel.
He's good for
that is a sin, Amir. That is a sin. I need you to repent. Damn it. Love me some Amish rifle.
No, I mean, I love the guy, but he only plays good for 4 or 5 weeks, and then he turned into like an interception machine for whatever reason.
No, don't go OGR. I coached. That's the one less giant YouTuber to watch. Okay. Whatever. Mike Nixon. Nizadir, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm 24/7 champion. If anyone wants to come take the belt for me, I dare. Okay. I'm assuming you're meaning WWE.
Okay. Hey, what's up, Nazdar?
Joe Burrow went one with tons of talent and great O-line. Burrow's pocket presence and accuracy is insane. Though his ability and also his ability to adapt. But Noah, in all fairness, I can't think of the coordinator there, but a lot of people say it's a system thing. We'll see, because you know what? I think you put Carson Palmer on a better franchise, he's a better quarterback. We're talking Carson Palmer as not potentially a Hall of Famer. You know, I just think that the Bengals are just a terrible organization, but you let me know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What would be a good season? Oh, that's a good question.
Amir and OGR, do you think you prefer a 3-4 or 4-3? Amir, you can't agree with OGR.
Okay, that's not fair, because what if we have the same thing? Personally,
I'll answer the question and then you just piggyback. Don't worry about it.
No,
we're going to be a base 3-4. That's what our defense lines up. That's what we mostly have. So yes, we're going to be a base 3-4, but we will be a multi-front scheme. I don't see that's a loaded question, because honestly, I'm not knocking Amir and his knowledge of sports, but I'm just saying I don't see where it could be a 4-3. No, I know a lot of Giants fans want the 4-3, and that's why they bring up questions like that.
I don't want the 4-3. I want the 3-4, especially with all the linebackers we took. And 3-4, it's more about linebackers. And also, if that's Patrick Graham's scheme, that's what he wants to run, then yeah, we should run 3-4. And I like 4-3, but we don't have the players. We need pass rushers for 4-3. Like, we don't have that many of those. So I agree. I'm sorry,
our first 2 Super Bowls were the 3-4 AV Sports.
Yeah.
What would be a good season for Andrew Thomas? Sacks allowed. I'll let you answer that one.
If he doesn't allow a single sack, that's a good season.
No, I mean, he's going to allow sacks. He's going to get.
I'm trying to think of a number.
Learning experience. There's a jump from college.
I know. I'm trying to think. Yeah, he didn't allow a single sack in college, if I remember that correctly.
This season, yeah, he didn't.
Let's see. It's tough to think of a number. Like, I don't want my quarterback to get sacked, but I don't know, like around 4 or 5 would be ideal. You try to limit it as much as possible. How do you come up with a number like that? It's kind of tough. Do you have a number in your head?
No, at that point, just answer 5 or less.
Yeah, 5 or less. Yeah, anything like that would be good. I'd be happy with that.
AV Sports wants to know, or Alex Sports says we should play the 3. That'd be great, but we don't have the personnel for it.
You don't have it. That's what I'm trying to say.
And we have so many defensive. I mean, because here's your question, Alex Sports. You answered this one in the correct. Where you're getting your 4-3 defensive ends? Where are you getting them from? You're not putting Dexter Lawrence out there. You could put Leonard Williams, but you need somebody in the J.J. Watt type build, the Jason Pierre type build, Michael Strahan type build. We don't have those guys. We could line up in a 4-3 at certain points, but you won't be lining up in a 4-3 on pass rushing downs because we don't have a 4-3 pass rusher. I mean, yeah, you could put Lorenzo Carter, O'Shane Zimenez, but yes, Nathan Poland, we could play the 5-2, but that's part of the multi-front scheme. But you give your thoughts on that.
On what, the 4-3 and 3-4?
Oh, no, just if you want to give it your thoughts on that real quick.
Yeah, like I said, I think 3-4 works for us. Like, we don't have the pass rushers to be a 4-3. That's what I said so many times on my channel. So it's not just agreeing with the OGR. It's just something I believe in, especially with all the linebackers we picked up in free agency and we drafted. 3-4 works better if you have better linebackers, and I think that's the way the Giants are going.
Butcher's Butcher Talk. Excellent question, Bobby. What impact will the upgraded coaching have on this team? Well, I think we see it all right. The message throughout the locker room, the message to all the players. You're going to give us your best effort from day one. And I love what Joe Judge said from day one. And I just love the coaches we brought in here. From Coach Chaos, Burns from Alabama, the running back coach. I mean, every single one of these coaches have either been head coaches before or at great programs or just great coaches in the NFL like Jason Garrett. Yes, Jason Garrett is a great coach in the NFL. Was he the best head coach? No. But he's a very good offensive coordinator, and his numbers speak volumes. So I think it's going to have a huge problem. That was the biggest knock on the Giants, besides the lack of talent with the Giants and consistency, was the lack of coaching and Pat Shurmur's questionable decision-making, where we know Joe Judge is not going to be tuned into one side of the ball. Joe Judge is going to see the whole field. He's going to make excellent decisions. So, yes, I think it's going to be a big upgrade. I think that's why the Giants will, supersede expectations. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team, but when you say 7-9, even most commentators on the NFL Network, I shouldn't say NFL Network because Kyle Brandt and what's-his-face, both of those guys predicted us to go to the playoffs. But other networks where they have us going 2-14, I think we're going to blow their mind just by going 7-9. But your thoughts?
Yeah, upgrade. I think it's a big upgrade because I was really tired of the play calling. That's something else. The culture is going to change. I hope that we become more of a running team, and I think this is what's going to happen is that Saquon is going to get the ball more. We're going to use Dion Lewis. Our defense, I hope, gets better because, remember, last year our defense was one of the worst. And I think Patrick Graham is better than Betcher, who we had last year. So, and Jason Garrett, I like slightly more than Shurmur, although I think Shurmur would be a fine offensive coordinator. I just don't like Shurmur's judgment. I don't like his play calling. I don't like how when we had lead in the game against the Cowboys, he stopped running Saquon. I mean, yes, they came back and scored, but there's no reason why he should have stopped. He is our best player, I think, Saquon Barkley. So why are we not running more?
Noah Cahill says, no one talks about Jones' presence. Got better toward the end of the season. The fumbles at the end of the season were bad snaps and taking off and running and getting the ball knocked out. No, I don't disagree. He did get better at the end of the season. I think a lot of people like to point to that Packers game. He played well in that Packers game, and then the ankle injury happened and he got pulled out.
Yes.
Or he played through the rest of that game, actually, I think. I have that right. After that ankle injury, that's when the Packers took over. We were very close in that game. We were keeping it very close to the Packers. So people don't really realize that, and nobody really talks about that game because they'll be like, oh, look at what happened against Packers. One, it was a bad weather game, and two, he had an ankle injury, and that's what kept him out for the next couple weeks.
I agree, and I want to say also it's because we didn't have a good offensive line last year. Now, I'm not saying our offensive line is perfect and fixed, but I think it's trending up. It's getting better, and that's why I think that.
To answer your question, Alex Sports, I did not see that. Mike Nixon wants to know, OGR, do you think Corey Coleman can have a big role on this team? Right now, I see him as a special teamer, probably the fourth spot on this team because he has the most reps as a wide receiver, considering the guys behind him. Possibly, but he's going to have to really work with Daniel Jones because the guys in front of him right now have better chemistry.
Yeah, and also to say that, I would say Slayton, Shepard, they're going to be starters, obviously. And I think that Evan Ingram is going to get more catches, too, and more involved in this offense. Well, I hope he does because I think he's such a special talent. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to have that much of a big role, but I think he'll be put in 4 receiver sets and try to throw him the ball. And he could – special teams, I think he was supposed to be our kick returner last year. But then
he was the start of the season – or he was going to be start of the season, except for the injury. And then Noah Casel says Jones had a beautiful TD drive in that game. Are you talking about the pass down the sideline to Sterling Shepard? I'm assuming you are. I think the Bears will go 10-6 this season. Your thoughts? No, I don't think the Bears. I don't see the Bears being that consistent on offense. But Amir's going to disagree with me on that one.
No, I say, I could see 10-6. I say 9-7 to 10-6 around there. That's where I have them, actually. So pretty close. Well, I mean, where do you have them? If it's not 10-6, what would you give the record to the Bears? What would be your prediction?
Similar to what they did last year, 8-8, 7-9, something around there.
Yeah.
They're going to start this season with Mitch Trubisky. If he doesn't improve, then they're going to go to Nick Foles, and we're just expecting Nick Foles to come in gangbusters with a brand new team. Was he gangbusters with the Jaguars? No. I don't see the consistency. Even though they have the offensive weapon, they have the offensive line, they should have the run game. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
All right. Ken Zong, Saquon will be used as a receiver, so people worrying about the receivers should chill. I can see that. I mean, that's obviously a given. Browns playoff team? Absolutely not. Way too many talking heads on that team. I don't see consistency, especially with a first-year head coach. I could be wrong, but they didn't prove me wrong last year.
I agree with that. I picked them last year to go to the playoffs, and they really let me down, so I'm really off the Browns' whole thing. I don't know what's going on over there. They have all the talent, OGR, but it just doesn't – there's chemistry. It doesn't work. I don't know what it is.
Sports Critic. So Clocks already knows my answer. Sports Critic, I think you want to agree with me, like Nelson, Larry Allen, Anthony Munoz, Walter Jones, make the entire offensive line so much better. OGR, I could get 12.
What's he saying? 100?
Could you get 1,200 behind him?
I don't understand. What do you mean?
Don't understand that question at all.
Is that a question or just a statement?
I think it's more like a statement that he wants you to. I don't. Clocks, clarify that, my man. I appreciate it, though. Extreme Kane says, thanks for being honest. Some reporters have a very stupid having us 4-12. If you have a massive injury at quarterback, I could see that, Extreme Kane. Yeah. Or your quarterbacks just don't pan out.
I think Nick Foles might, because he knows. I think he's had this head coach that the Bears has. He has some familiarity with them, and he knows his scheme a bit. That's the only reason why I think he might work there. But if Trubisky's starting, I didn't even know that was a thing, that Trubisky was announced a starter. I didn't know that.
Talent means nothing. It's all about coaching. I'm sorry, Ken Zong. I'm sorry. If Nick Saban couldn't reload every year at Alabama, we wouldn't be talking about Alabama the way we are. What are Barkley's final stats for the season on the ground and through the air? However you want to put 2,000 yards together, 1,505, 1,307, and then I expect 10 to 12 touchdowns on the ground and another 3 or 4 through the air. What up? What's going on?
Yeah, I would say 1,400 rushing yards, about 600 receiving yards. And yeah, I think he's going to have a pretty good year. I think he's going to, because I think the offensive line, and I think that they're going to run him more. Well, I hope that they do. I hope that's what they do. I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm hoping that they do.
He meant – all right, so this is what he meant. Sports Critic, I think you would agree with me. Guys like Nelson, Larry Allen, Anthony Munoz, Walter Jones made the entire offensive line much better. OGR, he could get 1,200 yards behind. So he's saying Saquon could get 1,200 yards if he had that type of offensive line.
I mean, it's true that offensive line would be great. I think he could get that anyway. He got 1,000 yards with our crappy offensive line last year. Get over 1,000.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Which Rafael DeLuna asked, what's going on? OTB Mobs, another good channel. Which running back would you guys back up Saquon?
Deion Lewis.
Yeah. Deion Lewis, I could see. Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that. I mean, I could see a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
OGR, when Jones throws 35 touchdowns, I'll be waiting for my apology. You know what? I'll apologize all day. I'll apologize now if that means he'll throw 35 touchdowns. Shit. If the NFL at QB position talent, if the NFL at the QB position talent only goes as far as you can, have a cannon arm, all you want doesn't mean you will be good, and got to be smart with the. Oh, he's just responding.
Yeah, that's
like, yeah. But I do agree with what Noah was saying.
Yeah, that makes sense. Work ethic also goes with talent. It's not just talent.
Imagine McCaffrey behind a good old line. You saw that at Stanford, so. I was going to say that too, Ken Zong. Javon Leak at running back too. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
So. Real quick off-top question before I wait for more questions from the chat.
Sure.
Do you think baseball starts at one point this year?
Oh my God, I really hope so, but right now I'm being so pessimistic, and I mean, I think it will. I think it will because the owners are willing to give the players 25% split, which is insane. I don't know why the players are not taking that. Now, the number of games, I don't know, but I think it will. Eventually, it will, I think. What do you think, OGO?
You know what? I'll do this because I think baseball season is going to be ridiculously short, if at all.
Yeah.
Over, under 100 games.
Under. Oh, it's going to be way under 100. It'll be probably 80, 70 games. What do you think?
All right.
We need 80, yeah.
So it's going to make winning my fantasy baseball
easier.
My fantasy baseball league that much easier, which I won last year, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do a single thing of research on the draft. I just pulled up.
Wait, you already drafted?
No. This year, hell no, we haven't drafted. I keep telling my cousin no. Extreme Kane says Nagy was Foles' QB coach for a few years. He's been announced who his starter. I'm hoping Trubisky because he does well against the Lions, Vikings, other teams. Not starts Foles. Okay, you can't. I'm sorry, Extreme K. I see where you go with that, but you can't do that. I've seen those experiments go bad.
That's true too. At the same time, yeah. But that's why I think that they will be better.
Who will have an off year, Mahomes or Jackson? Jackson, and not because he's going to have an off year, meaning he's not as talented. I just think he's not going to run as much, and people are going to look at it as an off year.
I think Mahomes had an off year last year compared to what he could.
Well, I mean, compared to what he had, but he's
and I think Lamar had such an amazing year. He's gonna come down a little bit. Can't have that same. If he has that same year, that'd be crazy.
It would be funny if Mookie never plays for the Dodgers. That would be funny. That would be funny.
Who said that?
Sabrina.
Oh.
Carter Coughlin, sleeper inside linebacker. That's what he's transitioning to with the edge versatility. Interesting thought on that. I just think we have other guys that can play the inside, so I don't see him transitioning. I see him being a 3-4 outside linebacker brought in on pass rushing downs and to give other guys a breather like O'Shane and them. Everyone does good against the Lions. Noah says. All right. So another off-the-wall question. Who wins the NBA championship?
I have the Clippers winning, and it's because I think they have the most depth. I know everybody wants to crown the Lakers, and I could see that. I could definitely see it. I'm not going to rule it out. But I think the Clippers beat, I would say, the Bucks in 6 games. I just think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams, and I just keep going, Marcus Morris. They have a lot of great talent, I think. And Kawhi is always great in the playoffs, too. So, I mean, who do you think, OGR?
Oh, I'm going with my Celtics. I'm just going to be a homer right now. Going with my Celtics. Rise above and take people out.
What I said, does it make sense? That's all I want.
Yeah, but see, my Celtics always get snuffed because they don't have a player like LeBron. They don't have a player like Kawhi.
They have a lot of really great players together.
I made this argument to like a big Laker fan the other day. I said, "You're right. You're 1 through 3 better than the Celtics. You're 4 through 11. Celtics got you all day. Celtics are one of the deepest teams in the NBA."
Yeah, I'm not saying Celtics can't beat Bucks. It could definitely happen, King. I'm not saying it can't happen.
Lakers went over the Bucks in 7. That's what somebody else said. Here's the way you draft guys. Huge offensive linemen, covered corners. You give me Reggie White, Taylor, Dion.
You're not going to get
Larry Allen, Nelson. You'll see Mitch Trubisky. Hey, you're putting a hell of a team there, Clocks. I'm not saying you don't draft that way.
You're not going to get all those players. And some of those guys you think that are good will disappoint. There are people that people take in the first round and they have such a high draft grade, they think, and then they don't play as good. It's not certain. You can't tell who's going to be an amazing talent like that. So Jaylen Brown is underrated. I think Jaylen Brown's a fan. I think Jaylen Brown, Tatum, I think they're all really great.
That's why I said the Celtics have the best 4 through 11 in the NBA.
In terms of players, yeah, I would say you guys have some really good young talent.
Yeah, and I think if the Celtics are going to propel themselves in the playoffs, Tatum's got to take that next step. Yeah. He's got to be I mean, he's already taken that mantle as far as taking
the
shots, but he's got to be basically what Kobe was for the Lakers. I'm not saying he's got to be Kobe because that's a little ridiculous, but I'm saying he's got to be Kobe-esque.
It's true.
We swept the Bucks in the regular season. Somebody points out. I like the Bulls and the Heat. I like the only two team NBA's sports one. If the Celtics beat the Bucks, they have a shot.
Yeah.
I think everybody agrees that.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Yeah.
No, I don't. As far as starting center goes, yes. But as far as centers that can come off the bench and play, Celtics are pretty deep at that position. I don't think any one center is good enough to be a starting center. Daniel Tice is pretty darn close.
Yeah.
He's an average starting center, and I just believe they're deep when it comes to because Cantor's a good backup, and I even like Williams as well.
Okay.
But as far as starting, yes, center is the weakest. But none of their centers I look at and say, they wouldn't be a backup on any other team.
Yes.
I honestly didn't expect this to really transition to an NBA thing.
No, it kind of did. But Brandon did bring up a football question. I mean, not a question. I agree with it. I think the Browns, Colts, and Arizona will all be improved.
Oh, absolutely.
I definitely think they'll all be improved.
Absolutely. I think Arizona.
The Colts will be the most improved out of those three, though.
No, I don't.
You think it's the Browns? No, you think it's Arizona.
I just don't touch Phillip Rivers, even on that Colts team.
But like that guy said, if you have this great offensive line, they have one of the best, don't they? Offensive lines.
Yeah, but Phillip Rivers is getting old. I want to see the Colts win a Super Bowl. I'd love to see the Colts win another Super Bowl because I believe they are building the right way.
So what do you think the Colts will finish record-wise?
Record-wise? I don't know if they win that division. I really don't. I just like the Titans so much. So I could see the Colts getting a wild card.
Okay, that's fair.
But going back to Clox's point, I always make this argument to Clox, and he always argues me back. But I'm going to hold true. After the 2017 season, the Giants decided that the 2017 season was a fluke. They brought in Dave Gettleman with this win-now attitude. All their draft picks, all their free agency was all win-now moves. And that's what they tried to do with limited cap space, win now with the roster they had. Didn't work out. It failed miserably. And then they began the rebuild last year. That's what happened. That's what I'm sticking to. Yes, Clocks, you could have gotten Quentin Nelson, but you don't know that. Well, we would have gotten Quentin Nelson, but then you think we would have gotten Nick Chubb and all these other guys, and it just wouldn't have ended up that way.
We've gone forever with the players that we could have got,
Exactly.
I completely agree.
Yes, Cantor has to be off the bench. He struggles on defense. Very good offensive player, though. Very good offensive player. People hype up Kyler Murray, but not DJ. Because Kyler Murray's the popular pick. He played at Oklahoma. He played at a bigger program. Of course they're going to hype up Kyler Murray. Plus he's, they see the underdog story because of how short he is. And they're like, oh my God, look at this 5'8" guy or 5'9" guy running around the field like a maniac. What's going on Mile High Sports?
No, but I mean, to be fair, though, he does have DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, that is going to help him, I think. But I agree with you that he gets way overhyped than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is barely talked about. And actually, he's made fun of a lot on these networks, which I don't understand.
You know what? I'm gonna just take a shot in the dark. So somebody asked, what NFL team who is supposed to have a good year will totally flop? I'm gonna say surprise, surprise, the Bills.
Oh, that's good. The Bills. Oh, I want to hear more about that. Can you tell me why you think that?
Because I don't think they've improved their defense. Their defense was actually not very good last year, even though a lot of people will say it was good. And I just think that Josh Allen sometimes, to me, is just too Jekyll and Hyde, and he's got to take that another leap forward if the Bills want the consistency. So I just took a shot in the dark.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that. Josh Allen, yeah, he's got to play a lot better for that team. But I think they got Stephon Diggs that's going to help out their offense too. I
think it's an unnecessary distraction, possibly, especially if Stephon doesn't get the ball, because I could just see him being a preemie on that team.
Yeah, if he does that, I mean, if that happens, then sure.
Okay, guys, all I'm saying is QBs who go top programs have a failure rate in the NFL because college talent, like Alabama's talent, is so much better than 95% of the schools. You're right. A lot of times that does shake out. But on the other hand, it doesn't always. Like there is a big failure rate. And yeah, you could take guys from smaller schools. But or what's considered to be smaller schools. But is Alabama a better program than California? Yes. But California's a D1 school. Like I see what he's saying, but it's just like it's hit or miss to me. For me, I'd have to dive into the statistics and really look at it.
I bet you there's a lot of players where it does work out, and he's probably missing those. I can't tell you off my head, but
Butcher's Block. You know what? Bills aren't going to win that division.
I
Give me the Miami Dolphins. Let's go. Hot take right there.
That was my underrated.
Take that one to the bank.
That was my underrated team. And if it happens, OGR, I'll remember you said it. I'm like, OGR said it, Miami Dolphins. But
Giants Alliance in the house.
I do think the Buffalo Bills. I do think the Buffalo Bills will win that division. I do agree with Bobby on that one. Hey, Giants Alliance, what's up, man? Thank you for coming in.
There's just so much turnover in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you could not guess different teams.
No, true. It's true.
So, like,
you're right. It happened last year. 49ers. Nobody expected them to be that good, and they went to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. So, like, what I'm telling people is, like, pick a new team. Why pick the Arizona Cardinals to win that division? Like, I know it doesn't make any sense on paper, but
it doesn't always translate. Yeah.
I'm doing that same thing. Like, maybe the Saints, because of what Drew Brees says, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does throw that team off. And the Atlanta Falcons don't really come out of nowhere, but, win that division and surprise people. Like, you've got to be willing to go on these limbs and take these shots because there's so much, that like 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that made the playoffs previous season aren't going to make this season. So to me, I think people need to start picking some people that are different.
That's true. Like, a lot 49ers could completely fall apart. Who knows? Super Bowl hangover, it happens.
Yeah.
I don't think they will. But
Jimmy Garoppolo goes down with another.
Jimmy Garoppolo gets injured. That team is not the same team, for sure. I agree with that part. Okay,
then what NFL player who is supposed to have a good year will totally flop? Odell Beckham Jr.
I think Odell's actually going to have a better year because last year was so bad. He can't have this worse year than that.
It's an embarrassment of riches. That's the problem.
Oh.
And Odell wants the ball. He wants to be a ball hog. He's not going to get it. I'm sorry. Jarvis Allen moves the sticks. He moves the sticks.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry always.
I said Jarvis Allen.
I know what you meant. Jarvis Landry, he catches the ball, PPR. If you do fantasy, he's the guy that Baker likes to throw the ball to more. He moves the sticks. He gets open. Odell Beckham is more of a big play receiver, I think.
And honestly, I think he's actually closer to the Jarvis Allen shell than he is a big play wide receiver, even though he does catch the ball downfield. But he complained about it when he was on the Giants. He goes, I like taking that 10-yard slanted house, but once in a while I'd like to be like Julio downfield. Sorry, you made your bread and butter on running good intermediate routes. That's where he made his bread and butter. You look at all his big catches, big slants down the field, big post routes. Like, it wasn't all down the field for Odell, but it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Like the answer, OGR, but Tampa Bay. I know you're saying Tampa Bay, Tom Brady. How do we know that Tom Brady's going to be the same player he was under Bill Belichick that he was? And how do you know? Because Tampa Bay doesn't have the greatest offensive line. Like, I know they drafted Wirfs, but still.
I think he should be good, but I could see him completely falling apart.
We just try to. Thoughts on the new playoff system? I like it. Another team. Why not?
Yeah, another team. Yeah,
give a chance. I
hated it, but now I'm starting to come more into it because I'm like, hey, maybe the Giants can make playoffs now.
Defense are inconsistent year to year. That too. Yes, they are. What's going on, Harrison Jolly? Very good supporter of mine.
What's up, Harrison Jolly?
Isaiah Simmons is not much better than Kenneth Murray, Kane Zong says. And he was taken late in the first round, so I'm glad we didn't take him.
I don't know about that. I think Isaiah Simmons is. I think the world of Isaiah Simmons.
I think a lot of people think of the world of Isaiah Simmons, and
I'm also.
You know I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna go with him. I like Kenneth Murray too, and
Kenneth Murray. But I'm
gonna say right now, Isaiah Simmons is a hype player. He's gonna be good in the NFL, but I think for some reason, I think Kenneth Murray is gonna have the better NFL career. Hot take from OGR.
Yeah, that
Hot
is
take.
I don't know. I think that. I love Isaiah Simmons play for Clemson, and the thing about Isaiah Simmons is that you could use him in so many ways. That's what I like. He can cover, he can tackle, he can do a lot of stuff. I like his size. I think he's going to be really special in Arizona. But I'm not saying Kenneth Murray is going to be bad either. He's an amazing player too.
All right, and it says, will the Giants pay Leonard Williams long term? No.
I don't think so either. I don't think they're going to. But what if he has a really great season? Then what?
No.
Still no? Oh, okay. I thought
no. If he's having a really great season, and let's say the Giants are, I don't know, let's just say they're like 4-7. You're not going anywhere.
Oh, you're saying because of the win total. I got you.
Trade him.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
If he's having a great season, trade him because he's at that point his draft stock's gonna be as high as it's gonna get, and I do believe there's guys that can come in and perform admirably if he goes. Last but not least, Big Blue Jabroni. I think Simmons will struggle early, but once the defensive coach figures out how he's used, he'll be a very solid player. I mean, I think that's a given with almost any rookie, but hey, that's probably especially true with Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, Isaiah Simmons, because he could play many different types of.
But guys, we've been going for about an hour and a minute here. I want to thank the Sports Critic for coming on, man. Why don't you close us out?
So yeah, I really appreciate you having me on, OGR. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for coming on my channel. Also, if you guys don't know, OGR has been on my channel too, and I really appreciate talking to him back then. And so happy that you told me that you're doing this for all the Giants or anybody, I think. I don't know if it's just Giants people.
Right now, it's going to be just Giants people, okay. But I would like to get more guys from like the NFC East on. But I got to talk to those guys.
Yeah.
I have another collab working.
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on your channel. If you want to see more of my content, please subscribe to me. Subscribe to OGR. He's great. I love his content. Always watch it, So, yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you so much for having me on. And I really appreciate it so much.
All right, guys, it's been OGR, and I'll catch you on the next vid.